All right, so let's go ahead and start the command prefix page now. So this is going to require us to just literally create a page that has an input field. Very, very simple. So we'll go to guild prefix page. We'll go right over here. And inside our div, what we'll do, is let's get our container. And let me just go ahead and set up an input field right here. Okay. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna style the input right now. Okay. I do think that I kind of want the container to be just a little bit smaller, so I'll actually override the style to be a width of, I think maybe 800 pixels should be better. I'll test it out in just a second. For the text, we'll import the title that we just that the style component, the titled style component that we created earlier. Okay, so we'll have text over there. Let me actually do this. I don't really like how there's like no margin up here, so I will also add margin. I don't know if that will look nice. Okay. Yeah, that should be fine. I'll do margin top and bottom. What's going on over here? Oh, you know why it's not gonna work? It's because we have, I think container is set to margin 0 auto, so that's not gonna work. We'd have to manually set margin on the bottom, but I think it'd be better though if we actually just used padding for this div. Yeah, I think that'd be better. Though 50 might be a little bit too much. Let's try 35. Okay. All right. So next, what we're gonna do is I'll go ahead right underneath the title. I'll create a div, and I want to have a label. And this label is going to be for our input field, okay? And the HTML4 attribute is going to allow us to specify the ID for the input field, okay? Because the input field is going to have an ID, and typically it's good practice to have the label because it makes your application a lot more accessible. So we'll call this prefix, okay? And then I'll call the label current prefix, just like that. So it'll look like that. And then we can have our input field, which we're going to go ahead and create a style component for, because we are going to be reusing over and over again. And I'll go ahead and just, let's see, how do I want to do this? So, we're not going to have an icon, so we don't need to really worry about that. What I do think, though, is we do need an input field. It's going to need to have some padding. It's going to need to have a border radius as well as a border and some background color. So I don't really think we need to necessarily worry about creating like a wrapper or anything to wrap it around. So for now, we'll do that for now. Okay. And if we need to display any errors, we can just display that like up top over here, or like literally over here. We don't really need to worry about that though. At least not right now. So for the input field, let's go ahead and set this up. So right now you can see that it's just a regular input field. Oh, I'm not sure why. Huh, seems like, oh, let me actually wrap this label in a div. So that way, yeah, there we go. Okay, so let's first start off by adding some padding, maybe. I think top and bottom, I do want, let's say, 8 pixels. You know what? Let me try 10 pixels all around. Yeah, that's fine. That's good. I do want to change the font size to about 18 pixels. Definitely want to increase that font. Actually, no. 14 pixels. Actually, no. 16 pixels would be fine. Actually, nah. 14 pixels is just right. Okay. Background color. In the Figma wireframe, the background color is 282828. It's not exactly the same as the background color of the entire application, but honestly, I think I'm just gonna set the background color to inherit the parent. So it's literally just gonna inherit the parent background color. Okay. And what I'll do is I'll set a border radius of 5 pixels, and then I'll set the border to be 1 pixel solid. It's gonna be a white color, or wait, no. Sorry about that. The border is going to be this color. There we go. I might change it a little bit though. Let me see. Kind of want it to be just a little bit lighter, so it's a little bit more visible. Okay, that's fine. Cool. Now there's one more thing that we have to get rid of. I'm gonna get rid of the outline because it has this ugly, like it has that ugly thing that pops up, which I don't really like. Okay, this is a little bit small. So what I will do is I will change a couple things. One, I'm going to change the padding. So I'm going to change it to be 16 pixels. And I'm going to change the font size to be 16 pixels. And I'm going to change the font color to white. And we're going to change the font family to be DM Sans. There we go. That looks a lot better. Okay, great. The padding on the top, not really much of a fan of, so I'll actually change it to be 10 pixels top and bottom, 16 pixels left and right. Actually, no. It'll be 14 top and bottom, 16 pixels left and right. Yeah, that's fine. And the last thing that we'll do is we will go ahead and set the width of this to be 100%. Okay, there we go. So it's literally going to span the entire container. And then I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and just use an inline style. The last thing I'll do is I'll set the margin on the top. Actually, no, not top, sorry. It should be margin top and bottom, and then none left and right. So that way there's some space on the top. And I'm not sure why, but I think this is a browser thing. I'm not sure why it shows like this cursor when I click on input fields, or actually anything really. I don't know why it does that. I'm using Brave browser, and I'm not sure why it does that. Okay, but it's not a big deal though. Okay, I will actually change the background color. Actually, I don't really like that. I actually want to change this to a different color, so let me do that real quick. Yeah, let's try a darker color. There we go. I think that's a little bit okay. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we'll leave it like this for now. I don't want to spend too much time on that. Okay, the last thing over here is we need to set up the buttons. So I think in terms of the actual input, we're pretty much done. Though I could do one more thing though. I think, let me see, focus. So whenever we focus on the input field, we want to add an outline of maybe 1 pixel solid. I think maybe that should work. Yeah, there we go. So when you focus on the field, it'll have this outline. And I'll go ahead and actually decrease the opacity a little bit so it looks a bit cooler. I could change the pixels to 2. There we go. That's not too bad. You could also change the color too, but I think this color is okay. And yeah, I think that is pretty much it for the input field. Actually, let me just change that back to 1. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we'll leave it alone like that for now. Okay, that's pretty much it for the input field. So now we can actually move on to the buttons, okay? Before I move on to the buttons, essentially when we actually get the data from the backend, the guild configuration, what we're going to do is we're going to set the value of this input field to whatever the prefix is. As you can see right over here in the wireframe, you can see the $signs there. That's whatever the current prefix is, okay? So it'll show it like that, and then we'll allow the user to edit it, and we're going to make it so that when they edit this, they can click on the save button and then it'll make an HTTP request. And then we'll also install a library later to display notifications. Not notifications, but I forgot what they're called. I think they're called toasts. There's a library called, I forgot what it's called. I think it's called React Toast or Toastify. But it will pretty much display a nice toast notification so we know what's happening after we click the save button. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the buttons now.